Hi, everyone. Hi, Irina. Well, thank you very much, Brock. I chased a lot of people to bring some good content in for our interviews. Hello, Hugo. I'm sure Kevin's here, said hello to me. Yeah. And Ren, how are you? Okay, let's take a look at the markets now. Everyone doing okay? I hope you have a great day too, Irina. Jason, hi, buddy. Okay. So, I want to start off with the dollar. All right. So, what have I been saying for a while? Anyone about the dollar? That I thought that we would make a new high? Who remembers why? Why? Anyone remember? Through all this stuff right here, why I thought we'd eventually make a higher high? Here's your hint. No? That's right. Huawei has it. No, Huawei has it. Confirmed high right here. No. A lot of good guesses, but Huawei Mate 10 Lite has it. It was a confirmed high. Hi, Sinatra. We had a confirmed high. And markets rarely or usually, let's not even use rarely, usually don't peak when momentum is confirming price, which is what happened here. We had a new high and we had a very high reading. It was in the 80s up here. So that was a confirmed high, which means that as a trader, you should be looking for a break to buy because the probabilities of another high are high or somewhat probable. Okay. So here we are. We made a new high. So, you can use RSI not just for divergences and turning points, but for confirming the trend and trading with the trend. So not everything I do with RSI is actually a reversal and an inflection point. Some of it is continuation work, right? So that's my continuation signal there. Everyone get it? It's an important thing to know, right? And now there's a non-confirmation, but that's a different lesson. Okay. So that's a different lesson. What do you do on the first non-confirmation? Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to bring it home because it's a pretty simple thing, right? All you have to do is see when markets are making new highs and new lows and look at different TFs, different time frames, and see if the market is confirming those highs and lows. And it actually gives you an action plan. It doesn't give you an entry, a stop. Kind of gives you a target because you're looking for that higher low to be taken out. Okay, so anyway, that's just a piece of what you get when you become a member. Okay, that's just a piece of what you get is learning things like that. And you could learn all day long in members chat. Um, check out these patterns in play. They're all working pretty good. Blaker's got something going on in the S&Ps here. And look at the Aussie Kiwi, Leandro hitting a couple of home run balls in his rookie season. He's far from a rookie. And what a great guitarist and singer he is too. We could start a band here at Forex Analytics. Blake's still long USD CAD, nice trade. Stell's been on the short side of Euro Yen for a while. So this is another part that you get. You get the learning, but you also get the pattern in plays, right? And then you get the chat room, which includes, Paulie's there all the time and Amanda, plus all the traders that make a living from the market. So let me ask you guys this same question I asked I think on Monday. Who's ready to step up and invest in themselves and become part of our trading community? Anyone out there ready to do this today? Today is always a good day. I know because I have a habit of procrastinating myself and always feel better when I take the step. Anyone out there want to raise their hand about joining us today? Angelo? Okay, Angelo. All right. You can just go, we have different plans, David. So you could just go to our website and see what's best for you. You could always even just start with a $1 trial to check it out. And then you get everything, including the mobile app on your phone. Okay, is that cool? So you just go to www.forexanalytics.com and take a look at that. Yeah. So I know after 10 days of checking it out, you're going to want to be part of it. So let's get back to some of the markets here. It's the end of my pitch. And S&Ps are trying to hold NASDAQ really at a key level here. You guys know that I'm looking for new highs in the market. I stopped, even though I saw a short yesterday, I didn't take it. I took this last week, looking for 38.80. So far, it's holding pretty good here. I don't think you want to see it back under 38.40 or so. This 50-day moving average comes in at 70. So, I mean, so far it hasn't done anything wrong, just a little pullback. I mean, the divergence on the daily and the weekly is just amazing. Look at the weekly on the S&P. So I think a major high is setting up here for April, May. I think it may turn out to sell in May and go away type of scenario here. And wanted to show the Canadian here. We may have completed the first wave up in Canada. We got to this moving average up here, a little over 126. So what I do is after a move like that, and we talked about it in face down here, and we talked about being wrong, getting long up here. And remember, I asked Blake that after, I'd say newer traders, after they're wrong on an instrument, hello, Monica, they go, oh, well, I'm not going to trade Canada again or for a while. And they let go of what they were thinking was going to happen, even though there was just one more cycle or one more jiggle in the market. And then we showed it. Well, I know for sure I showed it this day on the throwover being negated. So, if you took it from face, you did okay. Some people catch USD CAD. Not a bad place to take partial profits up here. You don't have to get rid of everything. But big believer in partial profits, something I teach. I think you have to learn how to do that so that you get paid on trades. That, what if it just turned out to be like a 3-day rally and then went to new lows and you didn't take any partials? IHS, what's that, Sensei? Okay. Oil's popping to, oh, inverted head and shoulders. Okay. Yeah, I see that too. And NASDAQ, so this is what Sensei is talking about. See this? Left shoulder, head. And look how actually you have on the 4-hour, you have a nice neckline with the 50-day moving average. And that measures new highs in the NASDAQ. Well, I've been bearish. I was not bullish silver and gold yesterday, Tom. I've been bearish. I showed the gold silver ratio. In fact, I'm glad you brought it up because gold has held up the best during this time frame. I was more bearish silver than gold. So here's gold. It's still way up here. I was talking about silver leading the way. It almost made a new low. Looks like it's going to. And the Dixie Euro pressed a new low. So gold has really held up the best when you think about it, right? Euro at new low, silver almost at new lows, and gold well above the lows. In fact, a couple lows. So I'm still bearish. I'm just showing that it has, okay. So it could, it is showing relative strength. And that's, I think I've covered everything. Keep an eye on the yen. It's lulling everyone to sleep. But if we start taking out 108, we could get a pretty quick drop to 107. Just really not my style of trade. Is just saying, okay, well, I'll short it because I think it's going down. I never got the action for new highs for a stop hunt or anything up there. Okay, so I'm going to pass it over to Blake now and see what Blake has to say. He showed a great chart of the day yesterday, Blake, on the something you've been talking about for over a week now, the potential of a head and shoulders top in the Aussie USD, and still looks to be holding a neckline here.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
didn't
Actually,
quite get there. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. It is. But before we get into the Aussie, I do want to talk a little bit about the dollar yen because you just mentioned that the dollar yen could roll over. I actually I'm not in that camp. Let me show you why.
Okay.
And it's not first of
Yields.
all, I have to admit, and let me get over here to this dollar yen really quick. I have to admit that the most traders, they have they do the same thing, whether it's you or me or anybody else. We see a big move, and the gut instinct at that point in time is, you see this big move, like something that like this in the dollar yen, and what's your first inclination here, Dale?
Yeah, it's to top pick it.
It's
And
it's
maybe a
yeah. I mean, it's overbought. It's
yeah.
going to come down. I want to sell it because it's gone too far. So if it breaks 108, as you just said, it breaks 108, then we're going to it's going to be a good short, which I don't disagree. I would agree with you. I'd say if it broke 108, then we are going to see a pullback.
Right.
I
With the
just don't
yields.
know. I'm not 100% convinced that we are going to get a pullback. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at let's go to the daily chart really quick. Okay. We have this relative strength that was overbought, divergent. The RSI is now not overbought. It's still pretty elevated, but it's not overbought yet. We could consolidate, but what's more important is where we're at. We're just like right up against.
It's a major trend line, man. Huh?
Major trend line.
5-6 years.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what else is moving?
Yields.
Yields. Okay, so yields are moving the dollar yen. So then I go over like the 10-year yield and I look at this, and I realize that we're on channel support as far as yields go. And I mean, this is the channel that yields have been following literally since mid-February.
Nice.
So a month, and we bounced off of it overnight. So let's say that just this trend stays intact for the next few weeks and we continued grinding higher in yields. I mean, let's not forget what happened last week. And, there's treasuries are going to be dumped on the market because the SLR requirement is done. So, and there's no exemptions there. So we're going to continue to rally in yields, and bonds are going to stay pressured. So what does that do to the dollar yen? I'm and look,
Longer
I
term,
was
I
short
like it.
I was short the euro yen. I know Stelios is,
Yeah.
and I shorted the euro yen and I made good money. I accidentally covered it last night. Hold on, I actually covered my short, like right where we're at. I mean, very close to these levels, and then I made a mistake because I was looking at I was doing analysis last night, and it's late in the day for me is kind of tough, just because 12 hours being in front of the computer, it's like I start to I feel like sometimes I need to just take a step back and take a look at things anyway. And this is the reason why I looked at the euro yen, and we were sitting at the 200 period moving average yesterday evening. And I'm like, oh man, we're at the 200-day moving average, but we weren't on the daily chart. I was actually looking at the 4-hour chart. So I just pulled the plug on it, and I said, you know what, I'm done with it now. And then I realized, I'm like, oh crap, that we aren't on the 200-day moving average. The 200-day moving average is a whole hell of a lot lower. You know, in the euro yen, it's way down here. So what I have orders to do is actually short the euro yen on a rally. And like I said, I got out around here, but here's the
Nice
thing.
trade, Blake, and
Thank
the
you.
team for recognizing it early.
Yeah, I mean, Stelios is short, you know, and I'll tell you,
Leandro, I think, shorted it too, didn't he?
but I got to tell you, Dale, I played it poorly at first because I shorted it at 130.20 or 130.10. Then we were at 130.40 or so. And so I was down like, it was like 20 or 30 pips. And, you know, it was that night in Asia, it was after the FOMC. And I said, I just don't want this thing trading up at 131 on me. So I covered it and I took a loss. Right.
Yeah.
So then after we had that failed breakout in Asia, I shorted it again at like 130. I forget what it was. Like 130, or maybe it was 129.90 or something like that. And then I wrote it out till yesterday, and it was, you know, overall net I made money, but it wasn't two perfect trades. It was one bad trade and then, you know, one really good trade. But
You
the
can't
point
drive a taxi cab without getting a ticket now and then.
Yeah, that's a good
An
point.
old manager told me that a long time ago in LA.
Well, now it's an Uber driver.
Yeah.
But what I want to point out, Dale, is if yields continue to grind higher and the dollar yen, which, like I said, I'm a little reluctant to short it here. I mean, if yields continue to grind higher, why won't the dollar yen break out above 109, you know, 30? And if it does break out, then what do you do with the other yen pairs? And like I said, I've got an order to sell euro yen at a little higher price. I'm not.
I think it is going to break out, Blake. I mean, you know, 110.80 is a number. You know, I looked at some of Greg's work, and quite a while ago when I was turning constructive, I mean, there's a case if we break out of that channel that you're showing, you know, we could go. Some people are looking for 120 yen, and if
Yeah, I
yields
mean,
are going to go to 2 or higher on the 10-year note, why not?
Jack brings up, look at the Swissy. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
yield sensitive currency, and I mean, if you look at the Swissy, I mean, a lot of people have been trying to fade this thing.
Yeah.
You
Not
know,
us.
that flag pattern points to 97 cents. I mean,
They should be members and they'd be long on Greg's pattern in play.
yes, and they wouldn't be, you know, while it's above 92, there's no way you want to be on the short side of this. But that's just showing you that you know that yields are the driver right now. And you know, guys, and here's your dollar Swiss, you know, analysis. So you know, this is what Forex analytics traders have been looking at the whole time. So just letting you guys know. I think it's mostly about yields, but I'm going to shut up here. I want to bring in my colleagues Steve and Stelios. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's afternoon for you
What?
guys.
Good morning, Steve's.
Blake, one thing I wanted to say, you were talking about if yields go higher, then the dollar yen should break higher as well. The only counter argument to that is if yields go higher and they stay higher, then we might see pressure in equities and risk in general. And that might,
Yeah.
you know, the inverse, the correlation of yen with risk might help dollar yen not break out, or you know what I mean. So that's
no, I agree. I mean that's I think the push pull with the dollar yen where it's
Yes.
currently at is the risk on risk off. You know, as I was just this morning, I'd been planning on watching this Bloomberg interview with Larry Summers, our old Treasury Secretary,
Yeah.
and he was talking about the excess stimulus, and it's like Steve would probably enjoy it because it's right up his alley, but the irresponsible nature of what the Fed's doing right now. But he thinks it's going to lead to stagflation. He thinks we're going to have higher inflation and low growth, which
Yeah.
I actually
My
that-
only problem with Larry Summers and people like him is that if he was appointed at that position at the moment, he would be saying the opposite. It's very easy for many of them, like we've seen Greenspan do after his tenure was over, start, making clear and obvious observations, which for some reason, as long as they were in position, they were blind to. So, I would appreciate it more if, he had the same stance when he was the Secretary of the Treasury, because let's be honest, the problems didn't just begin. They just being,
right. No, and I
yeah.
and I agree with that. It's easy to be a backseat driver, always, right?
Yeah.
But
And
Paul-
then
Paul
what annoys
tried,
me,
but
then what annoys me even more is that if that prediction comes true, he's gonna come out and say, "I told you so," but he's never gonna say like, the problems came in the forefront because of perpetuating a failed policy that was in place even when I was Secretary of the Treasury, because that's the truth. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I think it's an interesting interview for you guys to go. It was Bloomberg Wall Street Week last week, and it's been sitting in my queue for like the last couple of days, and I was like, I need to watch this, and I watched it, like earlier this morning.
Last time I interviewed Charlie Gasparino, I said, "Well, you and Larry Summers, because he's critical of the COVID relief, you're in the same camp," and he said, "Yeah, that's unusual."
All right. Well, hey guys, I'm going to let Steve and Stelios go over a couple of things that they want to talk about. So I want to say thank you all for being here. For those of you that are Forex Analytics subscribers, remember we have the Morning Edge webinar coming up in less than an hour. I'll see you guys there. Steve, Stelios, Dale, it's all yours.
Okay, Blake.
Thank you.
I don't know if we could handle it. Can you handle it, Steves?
No. Right.
Hey, can I ask you guys? Someone keeps asking, can Dale interview the Zodiac Bitcoin girl? Does anyone know what they're talking about?
I have no idea.
All right.
Dale,
I
tweeted her, is some young girl on TikTok. I don't even know who that is, actually.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I have no idea who
as long as she's not the Zodiac killer.
Literally the high. It was pretty funny. If you could track her down, I'm sure you'd get a lot of people listening in.
Okay. I'll
just go to my Twitter stream and go find it. Shy Girl had tweeted it, and then I retweeted her. So
yeah, it's one of those cases that, in order for you to make a career, you need to make sure you check as many boxes as possible. Good looking girl, like check, show a little bit of breast, check. Make stupid predictions that naive people are going to follow, like, Zodiacs, like, check, so
as long as she's not the Zodiac killer.
Go on TikTok, check.
There was one called the Zodiac Killer.
Yep, there was.
Yep, there was.
Anyway, I'd have to be very nice to her during the interview. I'll check it out. And guys, I just want to let you know that we're not pressed for time. My guest today just got a job with a broker, and he had compliance issues, so he couldn't do it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Letting you know.
So.
Okay.
That's it for today. See you later.
So
what
we have today? We had, interestingly, some people pointed this out on the chat. Angela Merkel, if you guys remember, she had announced plans for a pretty strict lockdown in Easter in Germany, and she kind of admitted defeat on that today and said there was a mistake, and it's not going to happen. Probably there was quite a bit
course.
of pressure because of Easter and all that.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. It's not going to move markets, but it's
Everything gets more random by the day. I mean,
yeah,
and everything gets decided supposedly for health issues. But my friend Dimitris, we're actually going to have him for an interview this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Dale, I don't know if you will be able to handle both of us. I have to tell you, Dimitris is like, very, very similar to me.
Oh my God.
So you have to plan 3 hours for the interview. Okay.
No. He talks a lot less, but having to do with, cynic humor, kind of thing, he was telling me how random things have become. He lives in Netherlands, right? And he was telling me how random things have become there as well. They've exceeded the level of ridiculousness, and despite Dutch people being law-abiding, etc., they've started, not caring at all. He was telling me that he wanted to go play some tennis, and now, for example, having to do with tennis rules, they've forbid indoor tennis, which is kind of ridiculous because if you've seen an indoor tennis court, it's like huge.
It's open.
Huge. It's like huge. I mean, we're talking about a huge volume of air in there, right? And it's not completely closed. I mean, there is a lot of air coming in and out, and so on and so forth. And he was telling me that if you want to play doubles in tennis, outside, of course, because the indoors is forbidden, you can play doubles only if all 4 members that play are below the age of 28.
Why 28?
Yeah, which is like a random number generator. You know what I mean? I mean, why 28 and not 30? Why 28 and not 32, 26, 29?
Arbitrary,
Nothing makes sense anymore. I mean, you are allowed to play in an open court tennis, but if you want to play double, which is 4 people at the big open court, you all need to, to have the age of 28 and below, which, I don't know, really. I mean, things get stupider by the day.
John, I just sent Zodiac Girl an invitation to be on Face. Okay? So ask and you shall receive. And you guys, you could be ambassadors for us if you're here in Face. You could always invite people, have them get a hold of me. If you find someone of interest, I've had a lot of people do that. So feel free. Yeah.
I'll bring Pamela Anderson. Okay, perfect.
You keep saying it. I'm keep waiting, dude. And I don't see her yet.
But we actually need Pamela Anderson of 30 years ago. But anyway,
to be honest, yes.
Yeah, you don't want to. Who knows what it's like now?
Let's move along.
Right.
Yeah.
So we also had some data today worth mentioning. UK CPI came in at 0.4%. That's lower than expected. We were expecting, the market was expecting a slight rise from 0.7 to 0.8, but really 0.7, 0.4, 0.9, 1%. They're not going to move rates, are they?
No.
And it's not. It had a very temporary effect on pound, but really nothing. Similar situation with Eurozone and Sterling UK PMIs. Eurozone PMIs were very strong, especially Germany numbers were very strong. And as soon as they were announced, the euro spiked 10, 15 pips against the dollar or 20 pips, and then it just came right back down. So it just shows you that numbers are still not important, let's say, but slowly they will become important. But at the moment, we all know
it's all about stimulus, Telio.
Yeah, we all know banks are going to be
the rest are details.
They're going to be buying all sorts of bonds, and they keep going. So unfortunately, I don't see this changing. We have U.S. durable goods in about 50 seconds, so we're going to have a look at that.
0.8 forecasted.
Yeah,
a lot weaker than the previous month. That was a 3.4. Let's see what we get. And we also have core durable goods. They always come in tandem, forecasted at 0.6.
Yes, and we do have the second day of Powell speaking, testifying. So that, again, I'm not hopeful, but we have to keep an eye on headlines.
I doubt we're going to get something groundbreaking or something unexpected, but you never know.
So let's have a look at this number, and then
we can only hope. 15 seconds for the numbers.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we have Shy Girl.
Nice. Oh, excellent.
Excellent.
Okay, so
Moment of truth.
it's red. Okay, better revisions, but lower headline numbers.
Yeah, much lower headline
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
Much lower, and better visions. Yes.
Yeah, we can forget about that.
Okay,
now.
somebody mentioned here. David says short Euro USD late to the party. Listen, I wanted to start by showing USD SEK and USD NOK. USD SEK specifically is most of the times almost an inverted copy of Euro USD. So just pay attention to this channel and the 200 daily moving average almost hugging the channel's trend line resistance. And you won't be surprised to find out that the exact opposite is the case here with Euro USD, right? Here's the channel with its trend line support. In this case, the 200 EMA is slightly higher, so it's not exactly on the channel's trend line support, but slightly higher than that. So, despite having signs that the dollar has room to rebound further, which would imply lower Euro USD, along with lower like other currencies against the dollar. I would first pay attention to this channel's trend line support, and coincidentally or not, if you notice, other currency pairs are also at resistance or support against the dollar. Here's USD NOK got rejected from this triangle. You can also see it as a rectangle with 868 being like the resistance area. Here is USD CAD for the time being holding the trend line resistance of this channel, right? So, I would be cautious here. I mean, yes, the chances that the dollar is going to rebound further have increased since we've seen the DXY do this move, right, out of this pennant. So I think there is a very decent chance that it can make a run for the 38.2% fib at 94.50, roughly. But seeing so many pairs at support or resistance against the dollar. Here is also the cable. I forgot to mention that. Look at the channel here in the cable and look at
EG, yeah, coming out of here.
Yeah. So I would be cautious. And in any case, personally, I still consider the trend for the dollar to be the general trend for the dollar to be lower. So I will welcome any rebound of the dollar, not for me to take advantage of it and trade it counter trend, but quite the opposite, to let it run its course so I can buy some currencies against the dollar after I consider this rebound to be over, because I consider the general trend to be to the downside. So, looking how this dollar rebound is going to unfold and extend, for me to start establishing short dollar positions. So I don't want to trade the dollar counter trend. I want to let it run its course and then trade it in my opinion, natural trend, which is lower. Now, having said that, notice Aussie USD attempting to break lower as well and attempting to produce a lower low, which the Kiwi, which is the only actually currency that has actually front run the whole thing, has already done, right? Quite a powerful move yesterday, so far consolidating yesterday's losses today. So yeah, as I said, I want to see a little bit more so I can start plotting like upside targets for the dollar, if that is to be the case. Now, having to do with equities, it's rather interesting the fact that equities have not been doing more or less anything, right? I mean, and not doing anything means that they're holding their clear uptrends, right? So if you look any single of them, you will either see them being at or near all-time highs, or in what seems like bullish consolidations in a bullish trend. So nothing has really materially changed here.
There's been a couple of pretty negative days in the Russell. DJ's pointing it out. Can you take a look at that, Steve?
Absolutely,
it-
we can have a look at the Russell, which was
Led the way up. in the last several
overperforming
months.
for a period of time,
Right.
did fulfill the minimum expectations of this correction, which was a higher high. I was looking for the higher high to either hit the 127% extension or the 161% extension. It made it close to the 127, but never made it there. Yes, it is quite a nice reversal lower. We're back testing horizontal support resistance area. If we break through that, I think we open the door for a bigger corrective move lower towards 190. So quite an important area of support here. But
If
as
it
I
holds,
said,
we could get a 3.
yes, we can get a 3 and build some kind of a 3 drive formation. Although somebody can make the argument here that we already had a 3 drive formation if you look at it. Right?
Yeah,
1, 2, 3. Right?
could. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, now having to do with the VIX consolidating, but unable to decisively break through the 20 support area. And that is clearly important because we keep pushing all-time highs, but the VIX keeps trading at 20. I remind you that the VIX was trading for a huge period of time, even below 10. So
It's a different regime.
different regime. Absolutely.
Did it fill the gap like a couple of days ago? I think the gap was comes in at 1820. I don't know if it got down there or not. That low.
No.
Didn't get down to 1820.
No.
1870. So it left 50.
Yes.
Okay, left 50. All right.
Yeah.
Couldn't even fill the gap at new highs. Huh.
No.
All right.
So having to do with crude having a nice reaction from this horizontal support area. I think this 57.50 is quite important. We break through it. I think we're going to see a much larger correction. We hold here. We might continue higher, although my intuition tells me that the trend is already broken here. So I favor a deeper correction before we can finally continue the uptrend. I do believe that crude is headed higher, but most likely we need a deeper correction before we do that. So probably a corrective rebound so far today. Natural gas hasn't done much. We're giving a lot of freebies today since your guest is not here, but it's okay once in a while. Gold still getting rejected from
Thanks.
confluence of resistances at 1750. Silver got rejected from that beautiful confluence of resistances at 2640. We break through the 61.8, which we tested the previous time and held. I think we opened the door for a move towards 2250. So metals do have the room for a deeper correction before higher. So, still not very clear what's happening here. I would love to see a stronger dollar rebound, which is a decent possibility. To get better levels to load the boat. But in my opinion, not a slam dunk case yet. Likely, but far from certain, right? Now, Palladium, in my opinion, has already broken out. We've been saying that on the members webinar. We were monitoring at this long-term symmetrical triangle, and we've clearly broken out of it. And in my opinion, if you're asking me what Palladium is doing as we speak, it's building a pennant. So higher. As long as we trade above 2,500, higher. As simple as that. Front end of the VIX curve wants to push higher towards contango, says DJ. There are cracks indeed. There are cracks, but still not enough. Not enough to call a reversal. USD Turkish lira, as I've said before, it all depends on, what kind of stance Erdogan is going to keep. But I have to tell you that there is a very, very high probability that this was the end of the corrective move lower and we're headed to new all-time highs, right? Where would that be? Start looking extensions of the correction. 9 is the 127% extension, 960, the 161.8. So, you know, if the market sniffs that Erdogan is doing his own, you know, things again and trying to, in essence, manipulate the monetary policy and fiscal policy to just be, you know, better received indoors, it's going to punish the Turkish lira. And we know that month by month, the Turkish lira, the central bank's ability to defend the Turkish lira becomes even less diminished due to big part of the foreign exchange reserves already having been expended in trying to defend it in the past few years, right? So I've kept saying that again and again and again. This is one of the most prolonged uptrends in the history of FX. And you should be very careful in fading it because the main problem for this major trend is Erdogan and the way he handles economic and monetary policy in the country. So as long as Erdogan is there and is doing the same stuff he was doing, you know, keep looking lower for the Turkish lira and obviously higher for the USD Turkish lira or any other currency against the Turkish lira. The only reason we saw a respite was because it was looking like he would let, you know, the people in charge do what has to be done, and for a short period of time that was the case. But when he fired the finance minister, you know, it's, you know, the market immediately got afraid that, you know, we're going to see one of the same. USD ZAR, absolutely, we can have a look at it as well. Here it is. So it had a very nice move lower. This looks to me like another consolidation. Now, can it produce a reversal higher? Yes, it can. But I think there is a very good chance that it's just going to more consolidate in time and then continue lower.
What a fooler that was, because didn't that rally up look impulsive, and then it, you know, you would have been buying
This
breaks.
rally?
No, further back before it peaked.
Oh yeah. But keep in mind, it was
yeah.
after a triangle, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
First of all. Second of all, it was the type of explosive move that we saw in USD NOK as well.
Yeah.
Which, as I said when I shorted it after I saw this move, in my opinion, that was a generational high in USD NOK.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so sure having to do with USD ZAR, I have to be honest. I mean, I'd rather be a buyer of the Noki than the South African rand, because as you know, they have several issues as well, and there is always a chance that at some point they're going to get out of hand, politically speaking, oppressed and all that. So I think it's a much more dangerous proposition being long the rand than obviously being long the Norwegian kroner, right?
Yeah, a little different picture.
Now, having to do with our friend here that is asking about the USD Chinese yuan, and I'm going to close with this. In my opinion, this is a new trend, and it's not over yet. And in my opinion, this is clearly some type of a corrective move. Now, I have no idea what type of a corrective move it is, because it might prove to be very early to decide. But a very simple interpretation would be being some type of a like channel or something like that, right? So I think that the Chinese yuan in the months ahead will rally further against the dollar. And, look at how uninspiring the rebound has been so far in comparison to the move lower, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's clear which is the path of least resistance in the medium to long term.
You ever trade it?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I have. Not recently, but I have. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so see you all see you all Forex Analytics members in exactly 30 minutes.
Remember, everyone, don't just count your liras and zars and
Yeah. To be honest, if you want to count your liras, it might take you a long time to do so.
Candy bars, whatever you love. Count your blessings and just be grateful. You can't be depressed and grateful simultaneously. So if you're down a little bit, just find that one thing that you're grateful for. And I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to join the team for Morning Edge in about a half an hour. So good hunting the rest of the day. You're very welcome, Sinatra. David Fox is now part of the community. I'll see you guys later on. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye, Coach.
Steve, take it easy, buddy.
You do.
Thank you.